some people see beyond the hijab. So they see the fact that like I'm writing, I'm being myself and I'm being authentic, and they resonate with that. Whereas others are just so focused on like this thing that I'm wearing on my head and how it should be worn, and how I'm acting while I'm wearing it. And I feel like those kind of people definitely need to like educate themselves a lot more, because our religion isn't, you know, like one thing. We all have our own interpretations. Like you'll find someone in Malaysia that their idea of modesty is completely different, and their traditional clothing is different to like Egypt, for example, or Sudan. It doesn't mean what we're wearing is like haram, but like these people have everything as haram. And even like over the past few weeks, like, you know, when the big billboard
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, yeah.
when that came out, like so many people messaged, they're like, هذا مش hijab, what is this? Deen is
yeah,
not
but
like
what
this.
else can you wear other than what you're wearing on you to be a hijab? I don't understand.
They don't want to see you.
No, but what I'm saying is,
Like,
even to the highest level of, you know, fanatic, can you wrap that any tighter around your face and leave less of your face left?
but they don't want to see this at all. Like, تخبي في البيت.
Yeah.
Like, stay in your house.
مين فتح لك الباب? Who unlocked the cupboard for you? Why are you out? Guys, welcome to another episode of Jibber with Jabber. We're ready to go. Today I have a lovely guest with me, Asma El Badawi. Welcome, welcome. That was a very posh, regal.
Thanks for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I love your glasses.
Thank
It
you.
reminds me of old school Dennis Rodman when he used to wear them on the basketball court. Yeah.
Yeah, no, these are just for
Or
sure.
Clarence Seedorf. So they're not actually.
No. If I had them for sure, they'd be thicker. Not for sure.
They'd be
thicker.
bigger than that.
Yeah, God, my eyesight's really bad.
But they'd be bigger than that.
They'd be thicker.
Oh, thicker, but they wouldn't be like bigger than that.
No.
Oh, okay, can't get much bigger than that. Shots fired at the start. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Welcome to Dubai again.
Yeah.
And again, it's not the first time, is it?
No, it's like my third time here.
All right, let's not show off. So for those of you who don't know, Asma is an athlete, author, poet, activist.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
From the beginning.
All right. So she was born on the 11th of November. Yeah? No. Okay. Not that far into the beginning. You want to start a bit later than that?
I'm a January baby, so I was actually born on the 4th.
Okay, so let's start in the beginning. Tell me.
So I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and then my parents took me to the UK.
Okay, from Sudan.
Yeah, from Sudan. I spent a lot of my childhood playing sports on the street with my brother, with the neighbors from so many different cultures and backgrounds. And then in school, I did the same. Like I was always in the PE classes and tried every sport that there was. And then eventually ended up being part of this campaign that kind of changed the history of basketball for Muslim women.
Okay, that's amazing. Let's go back a bit before the campaign. So when you were raised in Bradford, right?
Yep.
And Bradford is one of the only places in the UK that I would say has been diverse for a long time. So it wasn't like, because when my wife grew up, she dealt with a lot of racism. Being Somali English, obviously the black gene's a lot stronger, so she didn't look English. She was, you know, a dark mixed race girl growing up in where she did, and she was the only one in her school. So she dealt with a lot of kind of like both direct and indirect racism, and and didn't kind of feel like she belonged anywhere. And that's where she got into basketball, to just kind of get away from all that. Is that something that you experienced at all when
I
you were there?
experienced similar stuff, but for me it was more because I was the black girl and they were like the South Asians.
Oh, okay. So it was a different type of.
Yeah, it was that you're African, what you're doing here, why are you wearing a hijab, you're not even Muslim kind of thing. So that was kind of interesting to grow up in that environment, especially because as Sudanese people, we're a lot more chilled, and the way that we kind of interpreted the faith was a lot more chill. So I remember like being in school, like the teachers just didn't understand. Like for them, you were Muslim, you went to Salah, you did everything, and you just did what you were told. And I was completely different. I wanted to play outside, I wanted to run around, and then read Quran.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of everything.
So you were wearing a hijab from a young age in schools, and how how was it in regards to, because you get a lot of, I mean, an example. I had a friend of mine on here who's a local soul singer named Arkam, amazing voice. One of the things I noticed, you get big extremes of people in the Muslim community. So he was singing a song on one of the things, and one of the comments was, well, why is he singing wearing Muslim clothing? Do you know what I mean? He's wearing a kandora while he was singing. So you get that kind of far that if you're a Muslim, you shouldn't do any sports, you shouldn't sing, you shouldn't this, you shouldn't that. How much of that did you kind of get trying to go into sports? Yeah.
I got that like from teachers mostly. And it was like this thing of like, you're going to fail in life because you like sports and because you spent all the time in the sports classes. And also the same with my art. Like I was always in the art class and they said the same. But my mom and dad are so chill. Like Baba was the one who encouraged me to like go into sports and do something with it beyond myself. And then my mom, she was just chill because like I feel like in our culture, if like one of the parents is super chill about something, it's fine. If they were both like not on it, then I don't think I would have been able to kind of do everything that I wanted to do with sport.
Is your brother older or younger?
He's older than me.
Okay. Because I was just thinking your dad pushing you into sport is because you were older. Before the boy came, he was like, you must do sports. You must do it.
No, my brother joined in as well. My brother used to put me in goal and just like whack the ball and I would just be there like.
Yeah. So what happened where did you get into, like what was the main sport that you were doing? Was it basketball the main thing, or were you kind of like all over the place, kind of wherever there's something that's moving, I'm getting involved?
Yeah, I just played anything and everything that like I found in front of me. Like we used to play this game called Pittu that was like a Bangladeshi game.
Oh yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, it was like a Bangladeshi game with just like stones. You put them in a circle in the middle of the street, and then you hit it with a tennis ball, and then it was like dodgeball because they'd hit you, and while they're hitting you, you had to like reassemble these little stones back up.
Yeah, we had the same game, but we called it cannon. We used to play it with cans. So we used to get empty cans, and you had to put them in a pyramid shape while they're trying to lash the ball at you. Yeah. See, no matter where you go, that it always comes back. So where did it come about that you started to get into poetry? Because one of your main things is you're artist, because you're creative, right? You do a lot of things. Poetry is one of the major kind of pillars of what you do.
I started writing probably at 8 years old, and it was mostly because I'm dyslexic. So like for me, all of this academic stuff just doesn't make sense to me. Well, it didn't anyway at the time. And I just remember like always coming back home with these like red markings on my work. And then one time our teacher taught us poetry and something just clicked in my head. And then from that day on, I kept writing, but I never showed it to anyone. So I spent probably like the next 10 years plus like writing poetry whenever I felt like it. And then eventually I decided I wanted to share. So I started sharing and then won this competition in the UK with like BBC and like a play, not a play, what's it called? I don't even know its name anymore. I'm not going to be happy with that.
Yeah, it's not really good, is it? Your main award that started your whole career, you don't even remember. Let's just call it Blue Peter. Did you get a badge?
No badges.
You didn't get a Blue Peter badge?
No, I can't remember the name now. It's gone.
Yeah, it's not good.
The Roundhouse.
Okay, Roundhouse. So you won that. And then that's when you decided that this is what I kind of want to do, or?
No, actually, I finished uni and then I never wanted to do a 9-to-5. I just felt like that space would never work for me because I'm not the kind of person that likes to be told what to do all the time, and I don't like to be there at like 9 o'clock every day, you know? So I took some time out after uni, and then it was that I was going to either go into corporate work or this. And my cousin actually told me, why did you study photography and video? That's not going to do anything for the Sudanese community. Why didn't you do like medicine or something? And something in my brain was just like, you're going to go home and you're going to show him. And that's what I did.
Yeah, because medicine is going to do something for the Sudanese community, and another doctor, it's going to change anything.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
have so many already.
Yeah, so you need something that is going to be kind of left field that's actually going to bring, you know, highlight it. But what does it mean to you to highlight the Sudanese community globally?
I mean, it's a big part of who I am. My mum made such an effort in making sure that me and my brother knew who our family were, and like making us go to like, not making, she asked, to go to the village.
Don't lie. I used to do that as well. My dad used to make me go to Egyptian school every weekend, dude, where no learning was done, but everyone was just hanging out together. But they just wanted to make sure that you were around, you know, the same
Like
culture.
people like you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I spent a lot of my childhood like going back and forth to Sudan, and we were always like, me and my brother were like slightly the odd ones, because most of my family either came to Dubai, Saudi, like these kind of places, and then me and my brother were like the ones in England. And it was really strange because me and my brother spoke better Arabic than a lot of my other cousins who'd gone to other places. And then it was because my mom was a teacher.
That's why, dude. That's the only reason I speak Arabic. Not because my mom was a teacher, because my mom was just mean to me. Anytime I'd speak to her in English, she would only ever reply in Arabic.
But my mom did that.
Yeah.
She was like, in the house,
Yeah.
Arabic bas.
Yeah, and that's it. And nowhere, I'm talking about in the street, anywhere. But whenever she's with anyone, she wants to show how good her English is. Do you know what I mean? When she's out, it's like, oh yes, we've been in London for this long, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, now you want to speak English? Yeah. So, I want to talk about growing up with a hijab. How easy or how difficult was it for you, especially in England? Because when you grew up, because I know your age, which I've been told not to say, you know, it's only recently that people have been able to associate the difference between Muslims and somebody. Oh, you're a terrorist, you're wearing hijab. Because like 9/11, do you know how many Sikhs?
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, Sikh people were being beaten up. They were being cussed. People were like, you Muslims. He's like, I'm Sikh. I'm not even. Do you know what I mean? Just because people were just not like in tune to what was going on. They were just, what's the word I'm looking for? Ignorant to the differences between. So you've actually been through all those stages where being a Muslim was not the ideal in the world of, you know, Europe. Did you ever get that kind of like hardcore, scary?
I did. I mean, the thing is, like with us, it was random. It was like you went to school, you put your hijab on because you're in you're going to Arabic school or a faith school for me. So it was normal. But I think looking back, it was more of a cultural thing. Like, okay, you hit a certain age, you all just wear hijab. Like, so I didn't understand why I was wearing it. It was just like, okay, that's what I'm doing. And then I think I actually took mine off like years and years later, and then wore it back after like 4 years. And then those years I actually understood why I was wearing it. But before, it felt like a cultural thing, especially in Sudan. Like in Sudan, you just like wrap it around your head and just go out. It falls, like it's fine. But I do remember like there was times where when I left our bubble, because the UK is a big bubble. It's like all these people from different backgrounds living in little areas. When I left that space and went to uni at the beginning, when I was still wearing my hijab, I remember like being called names all the time, like while I'm walking down the street. And it got to a point where it was kind of really scary. And I talked to my brother and he was like, just wear a hat. And I did that. But at the same time, my mom, she wears niqab, and I saw a lot worse things happen to my mom. Like my mom used to get chased by drunk men. Like they would literally like chase her down the street, and she would be like running, and then others would like throw bottles at her and stuff while she's waiting for the bus. And I remember
in Bradford.
Yeah, in Bradford. And it was weird like being there and seeing that. But my mom would still like put her niqab on the next day and leave the house.
That's crazy, dude. But I would have thought in Bradford it's a bit, because Bradford is a big Islamic community, right?
It's a big community, but then like during that period of time, I would say like we kind of grew up in a council estate for a bit. Before that, it was kind of, you could see the racism and the whatever there and the Islamophobia, but they wouldn't voice it. It would just be like, oh, their kids would play with that, like with me and stuff, but like they would just like hi to my mom, but like that's it, you know. But when we were living in these like council estate type places, it was like very obvious at times.
And how was your sport and poetry received when you were growing up? Because again, you have what I was mentioning before, like there's them extremes where there's people that you're wearing hijab, you shouldn't be playing sports, or you shouldn't be writing poetry, or you shouldn't be pretty
I
much
shouldn't be
doing
doing
anything.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah. You should pretty much be doing everything.
According to the internet, I should be doing a lot of stuff. I don't know. Some people love it. Some people see beyond the hijab, so they see the fact that like I'm writing, I'm being myself, and I'm being authentic, and they resonate with that. Whereas others are just so focused on like this thing that I'm wearing on my head and how it should be worn, and how I'm acting while I'm wearing it. And I feel like those kind of people definitely need to like educate themselves a lot more, because our religion isn't, like one thing. We all have our own interpretations. Like you'll find someone in Malaysia that their idea of modesty is completely different, and their traditional clothing is different to like Egypt, for example, or Sudan. It doesn't mean what we're wearing is like haram, but like these people have everything as haram. And even like over the past few weeks, like when the big billboard
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Yeah.
when that came out, like so many people messaged, they're like, "Hada mush hijab. What is this? Deen is
Yeah,
not
but
like
what
this."
else can you wear other than what you're wearing on you to be a hijab? I don't understand.
They don't want to see you.
No, but what I'm saying is,
Like
even to the highest level of fanatic, can you wrap that any tighter around your face and leave less of your face left?
but they don't want to see this at all. Like تخبي في البيت.
Yeah.
Like stay in your house.
مين فتح لك الباب? Who unlocked the cupboard for you? Why are you out?
Yeah, they're like, "Man, قال إيه?"
She broke out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do get that a lot, but then my mom is fully covered. She's a teacher. She goes out. She does things. If anyone in this world that I would have listened to would be my mom. And my mom's never told me like لبسك غلط أو حرام, or you shouldn't be doing that.
So how did that billboard come about?
It's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah. You mean size or just in general? Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
I remember driving past it the other day. I was talking to my wife. I'll tell you what we said after, but
yeah, no problem. So I got contacted by Adidas a couple of months ago to work on a campaign, and we shot the campaign in Amsterdam. And then I think my story resonated a lot with the Dubai team, and they decided that they wanted to actually push that, specifically my image, more on this side of the world. So that big billboard ended up being here. Now, even though I have the same one, but smaller in different countries, yeah.
But look, on that billboard it says impossible is nothing. Apart from trying to do any sport in what you're wearing, what's going on there?
What do you mean? Oh yeah,
that is the furriest, fluffiest, most
fluffy, right?
Unbasketball-y, unsports-like.
So it started because I do loads of images on my Instagram that are like, I'm wearing very feminine stuff, and then I'll have a ball.
Okay.
And the idea is to kind of just showcase like there's a word for it.
Juxtaposition.
That's the word.
I'm actually a very smart guy.
Oh my god, that was actually the word I was
stupid,
gonna use.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be one or the other. Like you can be both. And I get followed by a lot of like young girls and stuff, and I kind of don't want them to feel like you have to be like muscly and big and like hit the gym all the time to enjoy sports, because sports is not just like being a professional athlete, it's going to the park with your mates and having like a 3-on-3 type of thing. And it's good for your health, so like why not? And they like that, and we decided like that we were going to incorporate that in my kind of a part in the campaign.
Yeah, I guess because like, I mean, these days, especially with Instagram and stuff, you see, the extremes. It's either I'm shredded or I'm a what's it called, model. I'm a fitness model.
Shredded, but on the other side.
Yeah, so I'm either going to be in a bikini, and that means fitness by showing everything I got, apart from just a couple of cover-ups. Or so I guess what you're trying to say is, well, you could just be fit. It doesn't matter what you're like. You don't have to always show.
You can just go have fun.
Yeah.
Like the best times of my childhood and my adulthood is when I go out and just play sports with my friends with nothing, like it doesn't matter to be honest, it matters if you win or not, but that's a whole other story.
Of course it matters if you win. I hate people that say that, like it's the taking part that counts. No, it's not. Nobody wants to take part, waste all their energy and lose.
I hate losing, and I'm such a sour loser, but I pretend I'm not, so I'm like, yeah, well done.
Yeah.
but I don't mean it. I'm like, I feel like I would like poke them in their
Mm.
sleep.
So where does your, I would say, profoundness come in your poetry? Because some of your poetry, again, I can see a lot of the whole, the Islamic side being like, because it's kind of weird, because you're going to get that all the time. Because you're wearing a hijab, no matter what you do, it's going to be under inspection and under whatever, and you have some, poems where you're talking about booties and this and that. So how are you, when you're writing that kind of stuff, do you ever think, okay, this is going to get some slack, or?
Or when I write, I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
Because I think the writing for me is for me first.
Okay.
Then everyone else. And I remember like when I was like studying at uni and stuff, like my professors tell me like, your work is yours, but once you put it out into the world, everyone's allowed to have their own opinion about it. And that has nothing to do with you. It's none of your business. So I always write for me first. And then if other people can relate, it's cool. If you can't, you can't. But it's almost like my little therapy.
Yeah, I mean, this internet is a dangerous world, dude, because you'll get people who want to hate just for the sake of hating. Because I remember on one of my episodes, somebody was trying to really get to a point that didn't exist. Do you know what I mean? Something was said in the episode and they tried to transform it in their head to mean something else. And then I commented back and I was like, no, actually, this is what it meant. And instead of them going, yeah, maybe you're right. Do you know what I mean? They were like, no, and this and that. And then I just thought, you know what? I'm never replying to any of these guys again, because no matter how you try to make them think, or no matter how you clarify it, they're not out there to have a discussion or a thing about it. They're just there to make their statement over and over again. And I'm just like, well, why are you done for? Well, I don't understand. So I get that, because like I said, I do these episodes for me. And if you like it, great. But like after that, it's a very dangerous world if you start to care what people think.
Yeah, because you can't control that. Like you really can't. For me, I've always been observant. Like I'm the kind of person that like I'm in a room, I look around. I like feelings, but I don't like the feeling itself. I like to interpret this feeling into something that I can then share with other people and see if they can touch it, even because it's not a physical thing that you can touch. So I like manipulating emotions in that way and making them something that people can
relate to.
Yeah.
What feelings do you get from this room?
It is a little bit I don't know.
Right, get out. It was a great episode. Thanks for coming in, and it's been great having you. Yeah. So I mean, what right now, because you moved to Amsterdam, right?
So I live in Maastricht, but yeah, we can say Amsterdam because no one's gonna know where it is.
And how did you go there? What made you decide I'm gonna go to?
During the pandemic, I just felt like the social media world, I love it. It's done a lot for me, but I'm not the kind of person that you can send me like, I don't know, like something that I don't even normally use in my day-to-day life and be like, oh, do you want to buy this? Like, so I just felt like I wanted to go back to the root of who I am and my creativity. And when I studied photography and video and like that whole creative thing, it was long. Like you spent 3 months on a project, a year on a project. You sat so long with your subjects that you actually knew what you were going to say at the end, and you still didn't control the outcome. Whereas I feel like with social media, it's so disposable. It's like within 3 days right now you have to create new content, and it was making me go a bit cuckoo, to be honest. And then this opportunity came up where a friend of mine had done the residency before me and then told me you should apply. And it was really competitive, but I applied and somehow I got in first time round. And then they actually moved the date, which I was a bit like, really? But yeah, so I as soon as they accepted me, I just...
So what is the residency for those who don't know?
It's an artist residency. It's basically like you get your own studio space. There's labs. So there's like a metal lab. You can go in, play with metal and stuff. Wood. There's like printmaking, photography studios, everything. And then everyone has their own studio space with 24-hour access. You just go in and you create. And there's like, I think there's 38 of us artists from so many different disciplines. And we're encouraged to collaborate with each other. We're like in weekly lectures and stuff together. But in all, it's you and your practice. Like if you wanted to go and be a hermit in there and not work with anyone or collaborate with anyone, it's fine. But it's just they cover your living expenses and your time there, so you can concentrate on just finding who yourself as a creative.
What do they benefit from that?
I think they bring people from around the world to the Netherlands, and you know, like bringing that kind of diversity, and then they also bring their like curators and stuff, and then they exhibit those people's work in the country.
Yeah,
we have like girls from South Africa, we had someone from Taiwan, Mexico, Brazil, like everyone is there, and you're just sitting in this room and you're like, wow, so many countries and languages spoken.
so you collab together if you want, and then what happened? I mean, how long is it?
11 months.
And then what?
You can go home.
So come create all your stuff and then go home.
Yeah.
So there's no kind of like, okay, well, we'll sign you after that to work and do this or anything.
I mean, they introduce you to curators throughout the year.
Okay.
You get like professional help and assistance. If I wanted to bring, I don't know, you in, for example, to talk about podcasts, like that'd be like something.
So they'd pay you, or they'd pay me to go and do it.
I mean, I don't know if you'd get paid, but they do.
Look, I'm just trying to figure out whether I'm getting a free trip to Holland, right? So what I think you should do is I think you should speak to them about curating and, you know, getting some podcasters in there and then give me a trip to Holland.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Play some b-ball, some 2-on-2. So where do you want your... Because you see, the thing is, you do quite a few different things. What do you want to be known for? What is the main thing where you think this represents me?
See, that's the hard question, because I feel like I'm always trying to figure that out. Sometimes I'm just in my creative world and I'm doing that for like, that's my main thing. To be honest, it's always been my main thing. But then my sports has always been there as well. I'm not Asma without both of these things, like the art and the sport. So I try to like do them, even if it's like I'm playing basketball with myself every other day, and then I'm going to the like studio and creating stuff. But ultimately, like, I just want people to know me as someone who lived her authentic self, because like in the spaces that I'm in and the conversations that I have, obviously I'm speaking about sports and I'm speaking about art because those are the things that I love, but I want other people to talk about the things that they love. The more we share what we love, other people are more likely to feel like their dreams are possible and to go out there and kind of achieve them.
But what do you want?
What do I want for me?
What do you want? No, yeah, for you, because it's fine to say, I mean, I could be wrong. It's fine to say, I want to be known for sports, or I want to be known for sports and poetry and that. But apart from, I'm doing poetry for me, it's obviously something that you want to be known for. And
I mean, I work with brands all the time, like poetry. Like, I don't know if you saw the Adidas swimsuit campaign.
No, I didn't see that one.
That came out like last year. Their new swimwear campaign. I wrote the poem for that.
Okay.
And then I came to Dubai and we shot it here. And I've worked with like so many. I've done just recently a Body Shop one as well. That's coming out this month.
So it's more back end kind of ghostwriting that you're interested in, or is it more? Do you want to be known as a, you know, a Maya Angelou or a poet? Like, do you want people to be talking about your work? I mean, 50 years from now, do you see it as something that's how important it is to you, or is it something you're doing on your journey? Because there's some people who are poets and thespians, and you know, they want to be famous through their work. They want people to be quoting their poems or quoting their work, you know, 50, 80 years down the line. Is that something that you've thought about like that, or is it just like...
I've never thought about it that far. That's deep.
That's pretty deep.
I'm gonna have to go home and think about that one. I don't know. Like, I just know that this is what I've been doing, and it's been working for me the past like 5-6 years. And I don't tend to be behind the scenes, because I do appear in the poem. Like I am the one who recites the poems in these like ads and stuff. So I don't know. Like for me, I'm very... What's the word? There's a word for it. There's always words for it.
I got the words. No, take it.
I'm very precious about my poems, in the sense of like, I would never give my poem to someone else to go and make something with, and then almost kind of like have it as their own. If I've written it, I want to be the person who shares it, who's mine in it.
Yeah, because essentially it's a part of your soul, right? It's your thoughts that's coming out on paper. But do you see yourself as, because you're an author, right? So you've got your poems published. Do you not want to take that further and to continue to release books of poetry, like bodies of work that are going to be known all around the world? I mean, is this enough for you to be known through ads and through this, or do you want to be known as a poet? Because there's a difference, right, between being an ad poet, and I don't know if this makes any sense, but what I'm trying to say is there's a difference between somebody who does things for brands and somebody who is a poet. Does that make any sense?
I mean, I performed for a lot of years. Like I traveled, I've performed in so many countries, and then it got boring.
You got boring?
Yeah, it got boring.
Why?
There's only so much times you can sit in a space where people are there to learn. It's not the same as when you create something and it goes online, or it goes in a space where people are not ready. You know, they haven't sat down and like, okay, we're here to be educated. So you're already in a space where people want to learn something new. And it's not that it's boring. I think that's the wrong word. It was exhausting for me to constantly travel and be in these spaces and create and perform poems and not have the space to actually live life and create. And I had an issue with that. I think for me, it sounds like I have no idea what I'm doing in my life. But this year for me, and being in this academy, is really that year for me where I just want to not think about the future. Like I want to have this 1 year where I create and do things and see where it leads me. Because my whole life I've known my next steps. Like I knew like, okay, I'm going to do this poetry thing. Within a couple of months, I want to be traveling and performing, and all the stuff that I wanted to do and I kind of dreamt of for myself happened within like 2 or 3 years of my career. And then I was like, okay, what next?
Yeah, what now?
Yeah.
Have you done a TED Talk?
Yeah. 2.
Damn it, I was going to say that. I was going to say, why don't you do one of these next? Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
Okay. That's pretty impressive. Wait, which TEDs did you do?
I did Bradford.
Bradford?
I did my hometown, and I
talk.
did. No, I did my
Yeah.
hometown, and I did my like hometown in
Yeah.
Sudan as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this whole FIBA thing, because that was crazy.
Yeah, that was mad.
That was, history in the making. How did that come about? And go into depth with this one, because I think it's really important that people kind of know what you did there.
So when I started doing the poetry, I had a mentor, and I remember she was telling me like to talk a lot more about the things that I do outside of like, my poetry. And I told her I play basketball. So she was like, you need to write a poem about basketball and stuff. And then within a couple of like months, I suppose, like I was like on a lot of TV channels and like having conversations all the time about like just performing poetry and who I am, and because I just got into that world. And I remember someone decided to introduce me to a woman called Indira, and they were like, oh, you'll have a lot of stuff in common. And she actually wanted to do like a creative course somewhere in like a humanitarian kind of like workshop thing somewhere. So she contacted me and she was talking about that with me, and then all of a sudden like we suddenly clicked that we both play basketball. And then she told me that she was a professional basketball player. She started wearing the hijab and she was no longer allowed to play anymore. And then she asked me if I wanted to be part of their campaign, and I think I just said yeah. Like straight away. And then because in my head I was like, if I'm never gonna get the opportunity to play professionally, I don't want the person to come after me to get there and then feel like, oh wow, so other people knew and didn't do anything about it. So I just kind of started campaigning with them. There was about 12 of us eventually. Like by the end of it, there was 12 of us. We were campaigning all over the world and constantly, like all the time. It was like, allow us to wear the hijab. We did like petitions, we did like media interviews, everything. And I mean, a lot of people will be like, oh, why can't you take your hijab off and just play? And it's actually not about the hijab, it's about the choice. And that's why I felt really strongly about it and felt like I had to be part of that.
And then FIBA were like, okay,
They actually
you women are
dragged it
making
out.
too much noise now. That's enough.
They do you know what? They actually did quite well in terms of like they did their own assessments, they did their own research into the hijab, found like we sent them hijabs that were actually safe, breathable, all the stuff that they felt like would affect the players.
So they were saying that women shouldn't wear hijab because it's dangerous for the woman wearing the hijab.
Yeah, and
That was
could be
their
for the
kind of.
person playing with her too. Even though
What
I've
do you
been
mean?
slapped with a ponytail here and there.
Yeah. Why is it dangerous for the person?
Because you could, like, if it fell off and it strangled someone else. I don't know. You know, these hijabs, they do their own thing.
What kind of transformer hijabs are these? Like Autobots they're gonna come off you and go and strangle. Like, so they basically thought that your hijab was like what's his name in Marvel, the cape that he wears.
Yeah,
That he could tell it to
basically.
go and strangle someone and it could do it. Wow. Okay, that's really interesting because it, you get the whole Paris thing with the hijab.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't understand it, and it's not from an Arab perspective or from a Muslim perspective. I don't understand why people have such an issue with it.
It's just a piece of cloth. Like
No,
when
but
you.
it's a big thing. Like not being allowed to wear it in school. I mean, why? That's a big thing. I understand the niqab, because the niqab, you can see eyes. It
You
could
can
be
see
anyone.
eyes, but at the same time, because someone asked me this earlier, they were like, if you walked into a room and all the women were wearing niqab, would you know which one your mom was? And I was like, yeah.
Well, obviously,
No, but it's
you
like,
know the shape of your mum. You know the
yeah,
movements. And
exactly.
stuff.
So
Yeah,
it's-
but look, for example, in Abu Dhabi, a man wore a full niqab and abaya in a mall, and I think tried to kill. We have to fact check this to just be sure. Tried to kill someone or killed someone in a woman's bathroom or something like that. So it's understandable where.
But you can kill
you-
someone without anything.
Yeah, but the man's not going to get into that
Hiding.
bathroom without
True.
hiding. Do you know what I mean? So there's certain things where you could be like, all right, it makes sense. So for example, passports.
Yeah.
Now you can tell your mum, but the guy on the passport checkout going next is not going to know a difference between these 5 women going on holiday. So you could be anyone who just put a niqab on and is taking someone else's passport and just going anywhere. So there are levels to it,
It's a
obviously.
good shout though.
Yeah, but there are like level. I can just imagine a load of niqabis going. The passport didn't come back from the embassy. Don't worry, take mine. It's fine. There's like 100 like Arab women traveling on one passport going around. They just look at it. They're like, you've been to a lot of countries this
Exactly,
year.
right? When
Yeah,
you
but there
renew.
is. Yeah,
When you renew.
exactly. So there is some kind of safety thing to it where I can understand, but the hijab I don't get. I don't. It's like let everyone do kind of what they're doing. And if you look at England, I saw a video back in the day, not too far back in the day, but it was of white English people, and all the women were wearing hijab.
Yeah, they
Do you know
wear
what I
the
mean?
little
The
thing.
little-
The queen wears a hijab.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, it's not a big thing, and I understand that. And even in sports, there was a cool thing in a football game. I don't know if you saw it, but one of the players, her hijab was coming off.
Oh,
So they were
and the
playing
girls
against
all
Sweden or
came.
something. They came and they covered her up, which is, you know, it's cool and it shows the sportsmanship. But I don't get it. I don't understand why it should be an issue if a woman is wearing a hijab,
I think a
during
lot of
sport.
it is.
especially the Nike ones. The Nike one is just like a slip-on. There's no loose bits. It can't come off and attack anyone.
Yeah, the Adidas one is as well. It's very similar.
Yeah, well, obviously you're sponsored by Adidas, so we're gonna talk about Adidas. Yeah. So
Just fitting that.
yeah,
in
just throwing that in. Right?
there.
But yeah, so they're literally like
Yeah,
safe.
I think the problem is this: like, people don't understand. Like, they don't understand why you don't want to show them your body and why your body is not accessible to them.
Yeah, but why should that stop them from? That's a very kind of masculine,
Yeah, but
weird
it
thing. It's like,
annoys
oh well, I
them.
can't see your booty, so you can't play basketball.
I mean, we have issues in the Muslim community too about the whole hijab and you playing basketball or
Yeah.
not. With them, it's more like you're wearing a hijab. Why are you playing? So you can't win with this because from either sides, you're gonna have the people who are like, "Mutahajba, why are you playing?" And then the other side are gonna say to you, "Take it off and play." What's
Yeah, but
the
I
issue?
can understand the Muslim side because again, some of them are living in the past and some of them are interpreting it in whatever way they want. But I don't understand it from the Western side.
Because I think a lot of people from the West, and especially feminists, I don't identify as one, because I feel like our religion gives us our own stuff, yeah. But a lot of these feminists and men from other backgrounds, they assume that we're being oppressed and this is not a choice, and that like our husbands are at home telling us like, oh, تغطي يا بنت, and if you don't, like, I'm gonna beat the heck out of you and stuff. So there's no understanding of like, okay, there are women out there who are forced to wear it, but for the majority of us, we're fine. I'm fine. Like, it's none of your business, innit? I cover, I take it off, I put it on, I wear it 5 minutes today, take it off for the rest of the year. Like, it's no one's business. It's something, but for them, they just can't wrap their head around it. Like, why are you not allowing us access to you?
And do you think this is like going to be an ongoing problem in sport or the community in general?
I mean, I think it's going to be a problem if Muslim girls make it a problem. I feel like Muslim girls should go out and play and kind of take up these spaces, not shy away from them just because they're not sure if they're allowed to wear the hijab in those spaces or not. But at the same time, I would say like federations do definitely need to start reviewing their rules, because it's only like 2 years ago boxing took their ban off. Swimming still has a ban. Like you have to kind of, I think their costumes you can wear to here and to here. Anything longer you're not allowed. And even though they wear like swimming caps, you're not allowed to wear hijab one that like covers your neck. So they need to start really sitting down, reviewing their rules and seeing if their sports are actually inclusive and if they allow people to come from different backgrounds and faiths or not. Because you can't say you're like a federation and you're inclusive and you're supporting of everyone if you actually have like restrictions in there that don't allow people to come in from different faiths and backgrounds.
No, I get that. Apart from swimming, because the more of your body that's covered up, you're basically a seal. You just be like cutting through the water. You have so much advantage. It gives you a 3-second advantage. You're literally covered in a wetsuit.
Yeah, but then everyone can do that if they want to.
Yeah, and they'll have like flippers. Oh, it's part of my religion to have flippers on as well, by the way. I didn't tell you. Like, we got to have flippers so we can really go through like webbed hand things to help you go through the water.
No, you can't see my hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Just my face.
Yeah, it's a big thing. But I mean, not many. I think it's also strange because, again, we haven't been involved as Muslims, women, in a lot of sports for a long, long time.
But why?
Huh?
Why?
Listen,
no, I'm asking.
Live your life. I'm not the guy telling you not to do it, dude. I'm all on your side. No, but what I'm saying is, it also goes down to the same thing. Like, I think you interviewed on your podcast a Muay Thai.
Yeah.
I was going to say a Muay Thai hijabi. It's the other way around. A hijabi Muay Thai fighter. So I can understand from the community going, what's going on here? Why is this hijabi girl doing Muay Thai? Do you know what I mean? So personally, I don't like seeing girls fight. Not because of, oh, you're a girl or whatever. For me, it's, I don't know.
I love it, me.
Huh?
I love women that can fight.
No, yeah, you can fight. Don't fight me. But I mean, I can understand people who, I mean, men fighting is weird for me. Even though I love the UFC and all that, I find it strange that I can see ourselves going backwards and backwards till we all have swords and it's just like the gladiators and like people that now they have UFC, they had boxing, now they have UFC, now they have something called bare knuckle fighting.
Okay.
Where they don't even wear gloves. It's just, and it's a proper sport.
And
they just wrap their hands, and at the end of these fights, you look like a car's just hit them. Literally, their faces are all cut up and stuff like that. So, I mean, I understand it, but especially from people who come from the countries that they don't have this, it's not normal.
But isn't it not normal? I mean, our history, we did have people that fought in battles and stuff.
Yeah, but not for sport.
I know, but like they might have been. Like, we don't know. Do we know?
I don't know. I'll check the history. I don't know.
Google
Did
that
we have
later.
just like women bare knuckle fighters?
I mean, it might not have been women, but like it's a big part of our, like, the men especially.
Yeah.
Like they fought, they had battles.
They had battles, but I don't think that it was a sporting thing.
I mean, the thing is, I think the motivation is different. You know, like for women, it really comes about from feeling empowered and feeling that you will be safe wherever you go if you know how to defend yourself. And also, it's fun. Why not hit someone a few times? It's all consent, innit? They're coming to get hit. You're going to get hit.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. Yeah, it's a. See,
I mean, obviously,
it's a thing that I can't speak on because, again, I'm not a woman, so I can't say, you know, it's not feminine.
Because I did jiu-jitsu, that's why
I love jiu-jitsu. You do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Proper jiu-jitsu?
I did it, well, I stopped when the pandemic, but I started when I was little. No, not that one. Okay. I did a local one to ours.
Okay.
In Bradford.
Bradford jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, but it was really, really good. And like, I started it when I was 14, and then I came back to it when I didn't want to play basketball anymore for a while. I felt like I just wanted something between me and like a coach rather than me and the whole team. And I love it.
Yeah, but jiu-jitsu is different because it's not people smashing each other's faces in. Jiu-jitsu is very smart. It's very technical. It's very, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not, let's just see who can hurt the person the most. It's a lot like jiu-jitsu has a lot of real life practical applications, which I understand.
Yeah. I mean, people like different things.
Yeah, I guess you can't really say nothing about that. So who are your kind of inspirations growing up, and who made you kind of want to go down the roads that you wanted to go through?
Oh, you know, I get asked this question like every week, and I always say the same thing. I don't have people. I have values. Okay. So I'm inspired by like honesty, for example, loyalty. I want to be a better version of myself. So I if I meet someone and I feel like, or I really like their sense of humor or something, you know, about them, I aspire to that rather than idolizing people. Because people are human, and you might love them and appreciate everything about them, but one day they're gonna error, and then what do you do then? Like if you see cancel culture now.
No, yeah, I'm about to get cancelled about 9 times on my podcast, but no, I understand. There's a very big difference between idolizing and influenced or inspired by, because I don't get any of this shit. When I see people fainting when they see Beyonce and stuff, it makes me sick. Like to the point that I dry heave in my mouth. Like I just don't understand how people can ever look up to someone to the point that it changes the way their body chemistry works when they see them, kind of thing. Like I don't get starstruck. I don't get any of that stuff, because at the end of the day, we're all the same. And it's just like you either got lucky or you worked hard and you got where you got. So I don't get that. But there can be people who inspire you because of either the hardships they went through to get to where they are, or these kind of things, you know?
I would say if I was to look at it like that, I would say it's my small circle. It's like my neighbor, like for example, is Dihar. Like I grew up with her. Like when I introduced her to basketball, she just played straight away. Like she still plays till now. And maybe I would say her the most, because we've had fights, we've had arguments, we've had like we're friends, but somehow we've always been honest and open with each other. So even like jealousy, for example, like if something made me jealous, I'll tell her like, oh, that made me jealous, or she would say it back. And I don't feel like people are that honest anymore, and it's raw to actually be able to open up to someone that much and still be friends, because not everyone can handle that.
No, anyone likes to be told about themselves as well. They take it very personally, and it's just kind of like, well, I'm not hanging around you anymore.
Whereas I feel like me and her, we've like, especially with the campaign, like the way media tries to like throw you against each other and stuff, because they'll invite one of you and then suddenly like the other one has more following, so they'll actually like drop that one, but they won't tell her that you're being dropped for her. And then she'll see you on the TV, and you know, and then suddenly it's kind of like, oh, well, why did you take my job? And you have to have these conversations with each other. That's kind of like, I didn't know. And she inspires me like all the time. Like she'll call me. She called me when she saw the billboard. She was like, I wanted to cry. I was like, why? And she was like, you're like my sister, and I don't have any sisters. So for me, like, those are the kids that I grew up with. like her sisters, her brother, my brother as well. Like I grew up with them in ends, you know. And then now as women and as men, like we can still get together and like appreciate how far we've all come.
What changes do you see that need to be made in general? I'm going to leave that as a very vague open about the whole world. I mean, what means a lot to you that you want to get involved in, that you want to add your hand to? What are you looking over there for? You done? Like, too deep of a question.
I'm like, I don't, there's a lot of stuff that needs changing. I mean, like what's happening now in the world, you know, like we're suddenly seeing that like certain kind of people get priority and are treated better, even though other people have gone through wars as well. So does that make them, you know, less human or less deserving of support just because they're not, you know, people of color? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely know what you mean. Works for me. I look like I could pass from that country, so either way I'm going. If I don't get in, then I'll speak Arabic and I'll get in that way. One way or another, I'm getting in. But what else do you want to kind of, I guess,
I think you need to give me a specific.
Don't tell me what to do. You're not my real mum. No, but like, okay, so a lot of people, a lot of poets, a lot of activists, they have a direction, right, where they kind of stick to one path and all of their poetry will revolve around that kind of thing. Is there anything specific that you want to kind of keep in line with what you're doing, or is it kind of like however you're feeling, that's what I'm gonna? To
be honest, like, because I think we briefly touched on this earlier and you were kind of like, oh, who are you, and this kind of thing. I would say that I've always been into like social issues, like no matter what it is. Like I'm so fascinated by that, like the world and how it operates and like how people interact with each other and how it can change, and you know how one thing can affect like everything. And a lot of my poetry does explore that. Like if I like strip everything away, it's literally that. Like it's me being interested in like sociology and psychology and bringing that to the space, you know. And even with like the sport stuff, I love talking about sport stuff, not because I'm gonna be better than you on the court and I'm gonna beat you. It's like, okay, if I bring 10 girls, for example, and 5 of them have never met each other before and 5 are, and they're from different faiths, can I get them all to by the end of the day be friends? You know, by using sport or by using art or whatever. And there's power to kind of using these tools to have conversations about the world. And that's, if I had to be one thing in the world, it'd be that. But I don't want to call it activism because it's touching it, but it's not.
You're active. Same thing. So social commentary really is a deep-rooted part of what you do.
Basically, yeah.
Nice. I'm not going to go against you. Came a bit aggressive in that last part. I don't want to do. Yeah. So where do you go from here? Dubai, back to the Netherlands?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Netherlands. I've got a lot of fun stuff that I'm doing while I'm at home. Yeah.
Do tell. Don't keep secrets.
I'm working on like this exhibition at the moment. It's just called Scale. And I'm just interested in how women and men, but mostly women, view themselves.
I love that. That's so feminist. See, I'm doing this for women and men, but women, mainly women. Yeah.
I'm interested in the way like we view ourselves in relation to our size, and how like when we enter a shop or you know, to go buy clothes, we're confronted with our size straight away. It's like you pick up the rack and you're like, oh, it's size 6, size 0, size whatever. And I'm trying to like create stuff that almost makes you go into a space and buy something not because of the size. You just pick it up because you like it and you wear it. And trying to see what that looks like.
What is it? Super stretchy or some stretchy material?
And you just like...
Yeah, you just kind of
with
like...
it
just comes with an air tube in it. You either blow it up or just suck the air out and you're ready to go. It comes with a foot pump that you can just pump up.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We should work on that.
There you go.
But no, like I'm trying to do it in different ways. So like initially I've just got this scale and I'm just taking pictures of me on this scale in different random locations.
Okay.
And for the other stuff, I'm gonna play with material and blow it up.
Yeah, blow it up, right?
Yeah.
How do you think? See, this is a very difficult subject of what is acceptable, what is not acceptable when it comes to size of people. And I think so much more with women, it's a bigger conversation because we don't see a lot of men who are bigger, you know, being very vocal about, oh, why are all the mannequins muscly or whatever. I mean, I don't know whether it's because men are lazy or they just don't care enough about things to even continue the conversation. But you get it a lot with women. So you get this whole the new kind of like, you know, models have to be of everything, which I get. But I think there's a fine line between
a model and a mannequin.
No, but just no, but just like having to accept and promote. And I'm going to get a lot of flack for this right now, but I feel like it got to the point where they're starting to promote obesity too much.
I think it depends how you look at it. A lot of people come to me and tell me, oh, you're so thin, we want to be thin like you, blah, blah, blah. For me, I'm not healthy.
Yeah.
I'm just thin. So I actually need to gain weight to be healthy and to function in the way that I used to function. If I go to someone and they're like heavier than me, for example, and I say to them, oh, you need to lose weight, they might actually be healthy. It's just the way they're structured.
No, but there's
But
certain
some
levels
who are
of that is just not healthy.
No,
and they're
I know.
promoting that, and it's just like, I'm sorry, but being that big, okay, I totally understand accepting people for wherever they are. Some people might have issues, thyroid issues, whatever. But there's got to be a line where we draw the point where we go, nah, this is not good. This is not healthy, and it's not good for society to teach people that it's okay to be morbidly obese, because it's not healthy. It's not good for you. It's not something that should be embraced. Where did we cross the line of going, instead of trying to get people to be healthy, to be going, we have to accept everyone no matter what now? Like there's so many different things now that we're having to accept, like with all of the new what are they called, acronyms and whatever. But like, it's like, where do you stop? Like there's a girl in Sweden that associates as a cat. She thinks she's a cat. She wears cat ears, crawls around the place, and drinks out of a bowl of milk.
But I feel like in the dark web, there's all sorts.
It's like, I have to accept that. No, I don't. Like there's got to be a line. We as humans need to have a line. We need to be controlled a certain amount. Do you know what I mean? We can't just be free to do whatever we want.
I think most people's interpretation of that is that you have to start, whatever your journey is, you can't start until you like yourself as you are. Because otherwise you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to be a better person when I'm like this many stones, or I'm going to be a better person when I'm whatever. And the idea is like, I think how brands doing it, like at the moment, and companies and stuff like that, the idea is to celebrate you as you are as a person and encourage you to, you know, do the athleticism and
but
the
they
art
don't.
and whatever it is.
But they're not encouraging. A lot of them aren't encouraging. And there's nothing wrong with, I mean, the person on the inside and the person on the outside doesn't mean just because you're overweight or very, very thin that you shouldn't like yourself internally for who you are. There's just a very, like we have a health scale of what is healthy. Do you know what I mean? Doctors and everyone, we have a scale that we go by, which is you're going to live an optimum life, perform best, be there for your kids when you get to a certain age and not have to deal with all these really bad things that will come, whether you like it or not.
But do you think it's up to society to fix that, or do you think it's up to governments to fix that?
Governments, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, both, to be honest. But I mean, like, I don't know. I just feel like we're all pandering to everything now.
No, I agree. I agree to a certain extent.
Do you know what I mean?
But I feel I'm one of those people in it. I'm like, everyone is allowed to choose how they want to live. But if you feel like you want to weigh however much you want to weigh, and feel like you can still live your life the way you want to live it, تفضلي.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
But but don't come to me and keep telling me, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to.
Yes.
I'm one of those, in it. Like,
I'm totally the same as you. No, I agree.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, don't make people feel bad who can fit into a bikini or who can. But that's the problem with it. It's not that they're promoting bigger swimsuits. It's they're indirectly and directly trying to make the people who are healthy feel bad because they're not.
Do you think it's like that?
100%. They took down in London as well. There was a huge campaign to take down a swimsuit poster because the woman was in shape, and they took it down off all of the undergrounds and stuff.
That's a bit strange.
Big campaign, and they were like, "Well, why? Not everyone looks like that." Okay, but it's like, are we going to take down everything that isn't 100% everyone?
But it's a really like complicated topic.
It is
it's one of those.
complicated,
It's like okay, do you want them to just do a tick list? Do you want them to just go through the thing, be like, okay, this size, this size, this size, this culture, this country, this hijab, okay, and then everyone's on the poster and everyone feels included? Or do you want them to actually?
Well, United Colours of Benetton did well with that for a long time.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, in it. It's people need to also be aware of like what they're consuming. Like if you're someone who's not comfortable with your body and you're following like social media pages or like clothing that's clearly not for you, not your size, or like promoting unhealthy eating habits or whatever, why are you doing that? Like you're gonna make yourself more miserable. You have to take control of like your own stuff. Like I can't expect the whole world to completely like change around me just because I want to stay unhealthy.
And this is the point, and this is the problem I'm making with not just with the subject we're talking about, with so many other things. We're in a stage of culture now where the whole world has to change to accept everyone else and everything else, and if not, you're a bad person. And it's like, hold on a minute, the world's been like this for 25 billion years, and in the last 3 years this has happened, and now everyone else must conform to this.
A lot of them will argue that always existed and then sometime in time.
All right, it's only come to light now.
Yeah, but
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I woke up
but
and
what I'm
found
saying
it like
is,
this.
you have to accept the rest of the world taking its time to slowly understand it. And do you know what I mean? You can't just force feed everyone and say, if you're not woke now, like, then you're a bad person. I mean, look, I'm very woke. I accept everyone. Do whatever you want, but don't force me to do what you want.
Yes, for me, I'm very similar. I'm like, everyone live how you want to live. But if I have kids and I want to raise my kids a certain way, don't be forcing my kids to learn your lifestyle. I'm a teacher mine, and if they don't like mine, they can go find another one. But like,
yeah,
you ain't coming messing mine up.
But this is the problem. We're getting to the point where we're losing that choice to be able to do things our own way. And that's where the danger is. When you have to either go by the rules they set you, and that's the problem. It's not that go by the rules we set you, or you're a bit. It's go by the rules we set you, or you're a terrible person.
Yeah.
And you can't say anything about it, and you can't do that. And it's just like, I think people need to just relax.
I think it's a very cancel culture.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting cancelled for this episode for that already.
You might just cancel him.
Yeah,
though,
exactly.
not me, yeah?
No, we're both getting cancelled. We're in this together.
No,
we're in this together. No, we're in this together. We signed a contract.
No.
We're both in Amsterdam now. So, no, yeah.
You're on your own, love.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I think the world is getting very, very weird.
It is getting very weird, right?
Yeah.
Dangerously weird.
It is what it is.
Come on, say something worse than what I just said so you can get cancelled and not me.
I mean, I'm not trying to get cancelled.
It is what it is. No, I think these conversations need to be had, to be honest.
I think this is the thing. I think people should be allowed to have their opinions. It's a bit like, there's a lot of stuff Muslim people say, right? And people are like, no. Christians people say it too, but no one's having a fit when Christian people say it. So it's like, why is there one rule for one and another for another? So it, and people are allowed to have like their own thing. I went to art school. In art school, there's someone in there who's atheist, someone who believes in God, someone who doesn't, whatever. Someone who likes, I don't know, like wants to live in a cave, you know. And you're all in that space, but no one forces someone else to be what they are. But now I feel like it's almost like people don't understand how to live together,
yeah,
without me being like, no, you have to refer to me
exactly.
as,
And this is the problem. I'm the same as you. I feel like anybody can have whatever. I think it's your God-given right to have whatever opinion you want. Like me personally, I don't care what you are. Like you can be racist against Arabs, you can hate Jewish people, you can be all of the things, as long as you don't actively go to try to hurt someone or physically be, then do your own thing. It's your life.
I'm exactly like that, because it's
because you can't change the whole. This is the problem. You can't change the whole world. There are going to be racist people. There are going to be people who just aren't nice people. There are going to be people who don't agree with so many different things. Like we're a diverse world. There's so many different worlds within worlds. I think as long as you're not actively going out and physically trying to hurt or mentally trying to hurt someone or indirectly, do you know what I mean? Have your opinion, dude. Why does it bother my life? Whatever kind of life you live.
I agree with that. I always say this to my friends. I'm like, I really don't care. Like, lakum dinukum waliya din.
That's it.
Like, do your thing.
Nobody's gonna accept everyone, right?
But I think I do feel like there's a lot of pressure sometimes in my field to accept other theories.
Yeah, but the thing is, I can accept your opinion on it. It doesn't mean I have to like it or live my life that way. But I can still accept that that's your opinion. This is your life. Enjoy.
Yeah.
And this is the problem. We're not allowed to say anymore, I don't agree. That's where the danger is. We're not allowed to say, nah, I don't like that.
We're not, but they are between
exactly,
each other.
Exactly. So like people are not, and even with our things, they're not, like, do you know what I mean? But it's like, you're not allowed to have an opinion. And if you do, that makes you terrible. And that's not the way the world has been or is. Don't silence me, man. Let me do my thing. No. Don't silence me. No.
Yeah, no. I feel like it is not a part of it is just because of social media. Like Zaman, like you can have your opinion and you can have it in your space and no one would say anything. But now I feel like they want everyone to think the same and be the same.
But isn't that the beauty of the world? That
I mean,
everyone has different opinions and everybody does live different kinds of lives and everyone does do their own thing. Isn't that what makes us human?
But this is the thing though, like this is how I look at it. For example, someone is going to now turn around and say to me, for example, like, oh, but you wanted people to change a ban so that you can play sports in a hijab. Why do we have to change a sport for people like you to join in? So
that's different though.
How?
It's different because your opinion is actively stopping me from doing something. Again, it goes back to that thing. Like they can not like you wearing a hijab. Fine. Even now, they can still hate it and can still go, oh, look at these hijabis on the pitch. But you can do it. That's where it's fine. They can have their opinion on how they feel about it. But before, they were in the other stage. They were physically stopping you from doing it because of their opinion. And this goes back to the whole, what we were talking about, where have your opinion, but if you're actively hurting someone, either mentally, physically, or whatever, then that's where it's dangerous. So that's where you came and stopped them from doing that because it was affecting a whole group of people.
I like that.
Do you know what I mean?
That's interesting because I've thought about that a lot. At times I'm like, oh, well, you know, me and the girls did that. Like we felt like part of the world had to change to fit for us. So why can't other people from other backgrounds and stuff like that? But then I suppose what you're saying makes sense.
Of course it does. This is a Jibber Jabber podcast.
You know, when I was reading, I was like, Jibber Jabber Jabber.
Yeah, everyone
jibby,
does that.
jibby,
Do you know how many
jibby, what
people
is it?
call me Jibber when they're talking to me on Instagram? I'm like, that's not my name, dude, but I'm not going to explain it to you if you don't want to take your time.
If you're not British, you're
if
not
you,
gonna
if,
know.
if you don't want to read one line down where it says my real name, then it's fine. I'm not going to explain it to you.
Yeah.
Dude, it's been absolute pleasure to have you with us. Is there anything you feel like you missed out that you want to say?
Hi.
To who? To them?
Hi to my friends, my family.
Hi to the friends and the family. That was her
Everyone on
acceptance
my
speech. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Bradford.
I want to
Bradford
thank
City.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to thank me for coming here tonight.
You want to do a Snoop Dogg, yeah?
Yeah, of course I'm going to do this. I want to thank me for coming here tonight.
I want to thank me for believing in myself.
Yeah,
I want to thank me for never letting anyone stop me.
Not even drinking any water the whole time.
Yeah, dry mouth is going on right now. For someone who's active, you should have been drinking a lot more water. While me, on the other hand, I've had it right here. Dude, yeah, again, and I wish you all the best with your work and your campaigning and your poetry. And speak to them in the Netherlands for getting me down there. I need a holiday. I need a holiday.
Problem.
Exactly.
Thanks for having me, and have a rest of amazing day.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you guys do.
It's pretty late now, so I can have a good sleep. Guys, I've been AJ. She's been Asma. Don't forget to like, subscribe, jump in the comments, and shout out Bradford City in the comments. I'll see you next time. Boom.